today, on our second to last day, I thought we would go back to basics. And I wanted to show a little hack on how to remember to use this foundational tool, how to really remind yourself when things get hard about this tool of the breath and how intentional breathing can be so powerful. So I'm going to give you a little hack on how to use that. Now, when we are in labor, sometimes our brains kind of turn off. We don't remember necessarily what we learned in class or what we've been practicing. It is a strange sensation to kind of like go blank. And I remember as a doula, even having my mind just kind of, stop working when contractions, especially when contractions kind of turn a corner to something a little more intense. A lot of times we kind of forget things that we know, which is great to have a partner that can remind you, a doula that can remind you, and you could also use this little hack. So a hack that I like to do and teach in my childbirth classes is to use something like note cards or some little notes to remind you just with a word. Maybe it's with a little drawing. You don't have to overthink this, but something that's going to just remind you, okay, that I do have that skill and that's what I can do. Because when we're facing something challenging, like a painful contraction, an intense contraction, maybe two contractions close together, sometimes our first go-to with our mind is like, what do I do? What do I do? And, you go blank. So I'm taking my note card, and you can either write breath or you can write breathe, right? E, add the E or don't add the E. And if you have this little card and you put it in your hospital bag with all your tools, let's say you were packing some of my favorite tools, battery operated candles, right? I have these in my doula bag. And you just put this in your tools that you're bringing. You get to the hospital, you pull out your tools and you put them sort of on the counter where you can see them so that you can use them. One of the biggest mistakes people tell me from their labor is, I packed all this stuff for labor and I didn't use anything. And I know how it happens. I can totally relate, because when you get to the hospital room, there's a lot going on. You're meeting the nurses, you're getting your health history, you're getting situated, you're getting settled, you're trying to kind of labor in a new space, especially if you go into the hospital in labor. But even with an induction, you might, think, well, I'll just get everything unpacked later. And then when things ramp up, you forget you have all these tools. So sneak in little reminder notes into your box of tools. So some of the ones that I like to put is breathe, move. Also, you could write loose, because that's what I teach in childbirth classes, that limp and loose. So that's my little hack that I want to encourage you to think about today. What little notes can you get? I am a note card addict. I love note cards. I love them for my daily lists, and I love them for reminders. So we're back to basics today, and we've got a new hack for using this foundational tool, and that's to make ourselves notes. Now, remember that practicing every day is just going to help our muscle memory. So even though this is day 14 and tomorrow's our last day, I want to encourage you to keep this up. So try to pair it with something else you're doing so that it's really easy to just get it done. So maybe that's you do it, after something you do in the morning, while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, you do 10 breaths. While you are, right after you brush your teeth, just relax, do 10 breaths before you go to bed. You get the picture. Try to build that into your day. That muscle memory is so important. Just connecting with your body is also really important, especially, as we're getting closer to the day, sort of building that mind-body connection and listening to your body can be so helpful in labor. So today, we are going to do not 30-second timer like we've done a couple times. We're going to just breathe together. This is back to basics day. We're going to breathe that long breath in and that nice long breath out. And if you want to add a layer today, definitely do it. Add a visualization, a vocalization, add rhythm, maybe do some like gentle movements while you're doing your breath, and just continue testing out these techniques. Okay. Other things to remember is, closing eyes or opening eyes. Play around with that. You might already know which one is your favorite, but it's good. I like to kind of practice with both because there might be times that we need to have our eyes open during labor. So it's good to kind of practice that as well. Okay, so it is time for us to do our 10 breaths. So again, just like each time, we're going to start with just a cleansing breath. Our first 2 breaths, we're going to mentally focus on how do we relax everything from our face down to our jaw, our shoulders, arms, legs, and our butt. Especially when we have a contraction, we don't want to clench up our butt. We don't want to be all clenched up. We want to be nice and loose and allow that cervix to open and do all the work that it has to do. There's no benefit in fighting the contraction. No fighting. We don't want to fight labor. We want to allow labor. That would be a good little note card hack as well. Maybe write allow or no fighting or something like that. Just some ideas. Let me know in the comments what you think of this hack. If you're gonna do the note card hack, I would love to hear. Okay, let's do it. Start with our big cleansing breath in. And then our 2, where we're going to focus on relaxation. Okay. Halfway. And we're on our last one. Good job. Now, if you felt silly doing this, or if it felt like, why am I spending my time doing this? Then that's normal. I hear people say that all the time, but I'm going to give you a high five for doing it anyway. And I always say that one of the best things that you can do after practicing your breath is strengthening your mind for labor. So I'm a big believer in birth affirmations, listening to them, saying them, reading them out loud, reading them in your brain daily can really help that as well. So if you build onto this practice of daily practice and you want an easy way to do the affirmations, check in the links below. There's one for first trimester, second, third, and labor and birth. Have a great day, everybody. And thanks for watching. Thanks for practicing. Keep breathing.